Hello everyone, and welcome back to yet another general cadaver video. We are all ocean and fish themed today. If you can see the shirt, it has these really pretty embroidered, just different kinds of shells all over it. I can't even put this in the washing machine. I have to hand wash this and like line dry it or hang dry it or whatever. I got the thrifted shell bracelet, and then this is new. It has some like a lobster and a sea star and a little fish. I like this shell necklace. This was also an antique. I love antiques. I love crystals. I love antiques. I love fish. I got this fish hair clip. Very, very pretty. Very nice. I also got the pants match the fit. We got these turtle pants that I got at my favorite place. My favorite place in Texas, probably Galveston. The really lonely place that's worth it down here. Also got my rings on that I got for my birthday. But in today's video, we are going to be talking about the 15 books that I read in 2024, all the books that I finished in 2024. It's not really going to be a ranking. I mean, I'm going to end with my favorite and start with like books that aren't like the best books in the world. But yeah, thank you so much for clicking on this video. I really, really hope you enjoy it. If you have any of these books, let me know. Check the description for my Patreon, Mercari, Depop, Instagram, Twitter, all that. Make sure you follow me and subscribe and like this video as well. Okay, so jumping into it, probably my least favorite book that I finished this year is a book called Doll Bones by Holly Black. It's about these 3 kids. They're not like the richest kids. They're probably a little bit poor. They go on this adventure because this doll here is like, has the spirit of a girl in it. I think she was like, I think people say she was murdered or something, but maybe she like accidentally died and then her family put her spirit into the doll. I don't really remember too well. I really just read this at work to pass the time, but it's not a bad book. I got this at Half Price Books, so it wasn't expensive or anything. It's not a bad read. It's pretty interesting. There is a romance between the characters, which I mean, I didn't care for too much. You know, they're young kids. When I was that young, I really wasn't thinking about relationships or anything. But I mean, to each their own. These kids, that just their personality, you know. And I think one of them comes from the trailer park. We identify with that here. She has freckles, which I like. Yeah, so it's not a bad book. I think I read this in like middle school, and then I saw it at Half Price Books, and I was like, oh, I read that before. It was kind of nostalgic, so I went ahead and bought it. But yeah, this is just probably the least interesting book that I read this year. Moving on, the next books we're going to talk about are all the Goosebumps books I watched last year, or all the Goosebumps books I read last year. I'm working on building my Goosebumps collection. I have a bunch of books, but I've only finished a few. I'm working on a script still. I'm like reading through one and like writing down synopsises of all the chapters and stuff. It's taken me forever. I have really, really bad ADHD, so it's really, really hard for me to sit down and do anything. So that's been taking months. But here are all the Goosebumps books I read, and we will be talking about them individually.
Viewers beware, you're in for a scare.
We'll just go at random with the Goosebumps books. The first Goosebumps book I read is Goosebumps How I Got My Shrunken Head. This is about a little boy. This stranger shows up to his parents' house and claims to be working with his scientist aunt in like the jungle or something. Well, the parents, for some reason, let their son go with this crazy lady that they don't even know. They're just going off of her word, which when it comes to your children, you really shouldn't do that. Just go based off somebody's word. Like you need to, I don't know, maybe double check this person's identity, but he goes, and of course it's a trap.
It's a trap! You have to imagine me with a giant squid head. It's a trap!
The scientist lady is being, I don't know, they're trying to get like jungle magic, which it doesn't even explain really what jungle magic is. The scientist lady hid it in the boy, and then the boy gives it back to the aunt. It is pretty crazy. They are literally about to beat them, like hang them or shoot them or something. But yeah, they're literally about to die, but the boy uses the jungle magic to save them. It wasn't the best Goosebumps book, but it was pretty interesting. I like the, like there was like real danger at the end because they were like about to be beep. So I mean, the stakes were pretty high. Next is Ghost Camp. So this is Ghost Camp. These are about these 2 brothers. They go to this camp, and apparently everybody in the camp has died. They all, I don't know, something happens. They go to this place, and it like kills them. It turns them all into ghosts, and like they've been trying to like get people in to take them over, and so they can take them out. I don't know.
One Krabby Patty, hold the mayonnaise. One Krabby Patty, hold the mayonnaise. One Krabby Patty, hold the mayonnaise. Thank you. Come again.
It's kind of weird. Some fun things happen, like one girl sticks her arm in a campfire. I think another kid gets hurt, but like there's no actual hurt. So there's like hints that they're ghosts. It wasn't bad. It was just a little boring. There's a lot of Goosebumps books based on like camps and ghosts. Speaking of which, the next Goosebumps book I read is The Curse of Camp Cold Lake. I actually really like this cover. The thing in the water is really scary. If I saw that in the water, I'd probably shit myself and drown. This one's good. This one's pretty good. So this is about like some girls, and this girl, she's like kind of whiny, but she makes like a bad impression, and she tries to like be friends with these girls, but then it turns out the girl that she's friends with is a ghost and was trying to kill the main character to make her stay with them. And like one of the other girls was a girl that the one girl that was trying to kill the main girl had already killed in a previous camp experience and forced her to stay there. So I guess she's just trying to kill people to make them stay with her and be friends. It's pretty interesting. I liked all the bickering and back and forth and stuff. The next Goosebumps book I read is Welcome to a Camp Nightmare. This one has a really nice cover as well. It's pretty scary with this thing stalking in the tent. This one actually has a really good episode, and the ending is really nice. It's the one where you find out that they're not on Earth, but they're planning to go to Earth, and the whole thing was a test for their son to see if he was ready to actually journey to Earth. It is really interesting. You can kind of tell there's a lot of hints, like they have weird creatures that we don't have. They have like weird city names. It's kind of like, the episode doesn't make it look futuristic, but it kind of sounds futuristic just a little bit with some of the things that go on. The Earth their planet is just really weird, and there's some like hints throughout. So I actually really enjoyed this one. This is probably one of the best Goosebumps books that I've read, like out of the ones that I have read. I guess I'll give this one's a 5 out of 5 for Goosebumps books. This one's really good. I'll give Curse of Camp Cold Lake 3 out of 5. Ghost Camp gets 2 out of 5 just because it wasn't that interesting, and so does How I Got My Shrunken Head 2 out of 5. It was interesting, but it just wasn't my favorite story. And then I'll give Doll Bones 2 out of 5 as well. I mean, I didn't enjoy it that much, but it's nostalgic and it's not a bad story. I mean, it is a children's book, so it'd be especially good for them. Okay, so the next Goosebumps book is Piano Lessons Can Be Murder. I mean, right away, I give this one like 0 out of 5. I didn't like reading this one. I thought it was stupid. The ghosts are like robots in the school, and the school like cuts off people's hands and keeps their hands to be like ghost players to get like the perfect piano sounds. It just wasn't scary. I didn't really like it. Some of the scenes where he's like, the ghost is in his house at his piano, that was interesting, but overall, just a boring book. I wouldn't want to read it again. I believe this was the first Goosebumps book that I read this year. This is Be Careful What You Wish For. And this is a nice book. This one also has a pretty good episode. I think I prefer the book. It is a really nice book. I like it. The witch, she's either evil or not a good witch, because she kind of gives the main character what she wants with her spells, but she also like fucks her over in the process. And I'm not sure if that's intentional, like if she did that on purpose to the girl, or if she's genuinely trying to help, but she's just terrible at what she does. But it's very interesting. I do hate the end though, because the girl gives her power to her enemy, the girl she hates, because she thinks it's gonna cause her to like have the same things happen to her that she had experienced. But instead she turns the main character, Samantha Bird, into a bird, and we see her fly away, or we read her fly away to go get a freaking, like some worm. She sees like a worm and she goes after it. So I just thought that was really stupid of the main character. Like, why would you ever give like any sort of power to your enemies? Like, granted, she thought it would be bad, but almost forgot to put in the antique fish earrings, but we remembered, so good. Glad I didn't go the whole video forgetting to put on earrings. Very cute. The next book that I read in 2024 is The Clown Egg Register. I got this book at a shop called Attic Salt in a local mall. I really like the store, Attic Salt. They just have a bunch of weird stuff. Their stuff is pretty pricey, unfortunately, so I try to mostly stick to like thrifting and stuff. I can't remember how much this was, but it's just a book all about clowns, and like it talks a little bit about the registry of clowns. It talks about different clowns throughout some history, and it shows pictures of their eggs, because you have to make an egg You have to make a ceramic egg with your face to get it, like, that's like the patent on clown faces, but it has a foreword. It talks about the different types of clowns. Yeah, at the back of the book, it has like the different clown styles, like the white face clown and all that. It's just a really, really interesting book. I've always loved clowns. If you've seen my clown collection video, you may have seen this book there. I really, really enjoyed this read. It was just really interesting to see all the clowns' faces and all their funny names. I'll give that one a 5 out of 5. I really enjoyed it. The next book I read is apparently like a classic, I believe. I didn't know it was a classic when I picked it up. I just picked it up because I heard it was good, and I mean, I saw it at the store. I don't remember actually where I got this one. Maybe at Barnes & Noble, I'm not actually sure. But this is We Have Always Lived in the Castle by Shirley Jackson. This book is beautiful. This book has the perfect life. It like showcases this like beautiful relationship between these two sisters who just stay home and take care of each other. She like kill their family. She does cause some of the house to burn down, which is not good. She seems kind of crazy, but she's very, very relatable. She just wants to be left alone. She just wants to be happy. And like, this is the life that I wish I could live. Like, I wish I could jump into this book and be one of these girls. Like, they have a beautiful home. They have all the money they could ever have. They never have to leave their house. All they do is clean and stay indoors. They never have to see strangers. Strangers come to their house and leave them food. Like, I don't know, this book is like perfect. This is a perfect world. Like, the perfect life. These girls have the perfect life. I was super jealous after I finished the book. I was just like mad that my life couldn't be like this. So this is a 5 out of 5. I definitely recommend it. Super, super relatable main character. The next book I read is a book by David Fontana. This is 1,000 Dreams. I believe this is the longest book I read last year. I like this book. It has a lot of pictures. I love picture books. I have real bad ADHD, so it's nice to have like something for my brain to focus on while I'm reading a bunch of words. Yeah, this just says discover the meaning of dream symbols, secrets, and stories. I have a bunch of, like, ever since I was a kid, I've just always had very vivid nightmares and very vivid dreams. Even to this day, like, every night I have a vivid nightmare, and, like, when I wake up, I have to remind myself that, like, I almost have to come back to reality because I feel in my dreams, I smell in my dreams, I taste in my dreams, like, the dreams are real. It's almost like I'm experiencing a different reality while I'm asleep. Yeah, it's just super intense. I have to remind myself, like, oh, this is where I live, and sometimes I have to remind myself, like, that's not a memory, that was a dream you had, that didn't happen to you, that was a dream. So, yeah, dreams have always been very interesting to me, and I think this book would be really, really good if you're an author to, like, all the symbolism. Like, if you would want to put a lot of symbolism in your book, this book tells you everything that stuff could symbolize, like bread, everything, like just random stuff. So I think this is really good for authors too. One thing I will say is that the guy constantly talks about how things are, or whoever, yeah, David Fontana, the guy constantly talks about how things relate to, like, Sigmund Freud, and how things relate to sexuality and people wanting beep normal life or just sexual things. I don't know why the guy has an obsession with, mentions it more than he needs to, and sometimes even about things that, like, okay, yeah, or like the sexual symbolism is obvious or something like that, or I don't know, I guess maybe it's important, the sexual symbolism, but that just caught me off guard how many times he related things to sexuality or whatever, and Sigmund Freud. I was like, I just want information, I don't need to know about the sexuality. So the next book that I read, this is the original Coraline book by Neil Gaiman. Apparently Neil Gaiman is going through something, like, he's like a bad person apparently, so that sucks because this book is amazing and this movie's amazing. Apparently he like wrote this book for his daughter or something and then published it, but it's an amazing book. I really, really love it. It's scarier than the movie. There's like one or two more scenes that are in this that are not in the movie. Some of the things in the movie are changed, but they're both really, really good. I love all three versions of Coraline, and I'll get to the third one. But yeah, she's a girl. She finds this little secret door in her house, and when her parents are gone or at nighttime, she can crawl through the door, and there's this like doppelgangers and stuff, and the main lady's like this big spider on the inside, and she wants to like trap Coraline and suck her life force. She meets ghosts. One of them's a fairy. Just some really beautiful pictures in the book. I love pictures in books. So yeah, I give this one a 5 out of 5. It sucks that the author's a bad guy, but this is probably, like, this is one of my favorite books ever. I didn't want it to stop, and it's very, very accurate to the movie. The next book that I read, it's also by Neil Gaiman. It's the graphic novel of Coraline, but this one is adapted and illustrated by P. Craig Russell. So it's like a third version of Coraline, and this one is a graphic novel. So there's pictures and color and little text bubbles. I did not want this one to end either. I love how this one looks different than the movie because, again, we're getting 3 different versions, and this one follows the whole entire book, so you can visualize more accurately the scenes. Since that one's just text on paper, you can't really see what's happening, but with this you can see what's happening. It's very dynamic, it's colorful, it's beautiful. Coraline definitely looks different. I definitely much prefer the little skinny girl with blue hair and instead of the other versions of Coraline, and how she looks and how her parents look and stuff. I think the best look is the movie, but this one is still beautiful. It's very, very interesting to see stuff that we didn't get to see in the movie. And I love Miss Spink and Miss Forcible. They're absolutely so hot when they're young. And they're hot in the movie too when they're young, but obviously they're like cartoonish characters. But this is more like human view of them, and they look very nice. And I like the ending card. It just says the end in the clouds. I give this one a 5 out of 5. I honestly really want to get into graphic novels now because I enjoyed reading this one so much. And the final book that I read in 2024, this is actually the first book that I bought and read in 2024. This is I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy. This book was so crazy. Like, when I was hearing about Jeanette McCurdy, like all the people talking about the book and her talking about the book, I was like absolutely gobsmacked, because you look at actors and they have the perfect life. Even if they go through pain or whatever, everybody goes through pain, but they get money out of it. So like, I would have rather gone through everything I've experienced and have money out of it, and have something out of it, fame out of it, than go through everything I experienced and have nothing, like now. So it is very, very interesting because, I mean, you get to see her being abused by her mother, which usually, you think celebrities have perfect lives. So it's interesting to see that some of them don't. She was abused by her mother. She had really bad OCD. Her mom was this weird religious nut. She would like do vagina inspections on her. She would watch her shower and look at her breasts. And she talks about her first sexual experience in this book, which honestly is like alcohol involved, and she said like he wasn't gentle at all. So yeah, there's just a lot of like juicy details in this book. It's very, very interesting. I definitely recommend reading it, especially if you like Jeanette McCurdy. I mean, this is a way to learn more about her, a way to be nosy. I love being nosy. I love hearing about people's lives. And I love the cover. I love the yellow and pink. And I mean, I'm glad Jeanette McCurdy's mom's dead too. She was a bitch. She seemed like a real cunt. I got this at Walmart. It's a really, really good read. I definitely recommend this to anyone. 5 out of 5 book. You feel so bad for Jeanette McCurdy, and you really couldn't tell on the set of like iCarly that she was being abused. Like, she just seemed like a normal, like, the tough character. Sam was such a cool character. Like, it's like weird to see that she's nothing like that character in real life. Like, she's not loud, not like out there. She doesn't like food. Like, it's just interesting to see the contrast. Okay, but that is all the books that I read in 2024, all 15 books. I will be doing this video again for 2025. I don't read enough books in a month to come out with like videos about what book did I read this month or how many books I read this month. I'm a really slow reader. I have really bad ADHD, so, and plus I just don't have the time, cleaning, trying to make money, all that. I really, really hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know what you thought of any of these books. If you have any of these books, please check out my description box for my Patreon, my Mercari, my Depop. Please check out my social medias. I have Instagram, Blue Sky, Twitter, Threads. I'm on Reddit. Also, everything should be General Cadaver or Juicebox 4 Vamps with the number 4. So yeah, please like this video and subscribe to this channel, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.
You know this hell on earth business? Big fucking deal. I got hemorrhoids. Vaya con Dios.